Thank you to Motion Array for sponsoring today's video. So you have a camera, you want to make money. Today we're going over 95 ways you can make money with a camera. Now, two disclaimers. One, anytime people click on these videos, I think they expect some type of magic, pull a rabbit out of the hat formula. There is always going to be an element of hustle when it comes to making money with a camera. So none of these things are just snap of the fingers, you get rich. You obviously got to do a little bit of work here. Now, the second disclaimer is that I'm not going to go in depth on any of these. I am going to talk about them, but that video would be extremely long if I broke each one of these down. It's already going to be a long video. This is part of an ongoing podcast type series I'm doing on the channel where I talk about photography business and camera business in a more casual setup, and you guys seem to really enjoy them. So if you want me to keep making these long form casual videos, hit the thumbs up button. It lets me know you like this type of content. But with that being said, there are some videos on this channel that I think will help you out if you want more in-depth information on these topics. I'll link them in the description down below. One's about passive income if you don't have a social media following. One is about how to make money 33 different ways with photography, and I go a little bit more in depth on each one of these. And one is about how to scale any of these ideas to a business that can make $1,000 or more every single month. I break that down step by step for y'all. So those are linked in the description down below. And I want to make this video fun and interactive for the audience and community on this channel. So if I leave anything off this list or you have other ideas, drop them in the comments so people can go down there and read them and benefit from this conversation. So let's go ahead and get into this list right here. Number one is real estate interactive video. Now, this is a huge emerging market for anyone who's interested in making money with a camera because real estate is now incorporating videos onto websites like Zillow and onto like MLS and Redfin, where you can essentially take a tour of a house. And there's two kind of ways to do this. One is where you click on a photo and you can get like a 360 view of the room. Another is where you can click on the steps like in a room so you can walk through the house essentially. These are captured by a photographer, and if you want to learn the skills to make these types of things, there's a lot of opportunity to get paid for this going into the future because right now it's not necessarily the standard. It's something that's kind of like an upgrade, but I have a feeling you're going to start seeing this more and more. So if you learn the skills, you get the equipment, this is something you can take advantage of. Now, number two goes off of that. It's back to the basic real estate photos. Like I said, the new technology is emerging, so traditional real estate photography is still something a lot of people need. The main reason being is because the interactive stuff is expensive and most real estate agents don't want to pay the money out of pocket to have that in their house unless it's a very important listing or a big listing. So real estate photography is still very big, and if you're good at it, there's definitely a market for it because it helps sell houses. I've actually done the real estate photography for a house that I sold before, and it sold in one day. I don't know if that was because the market was hot or because your boy got it together, but regardless, real estate photography is always in demand. Number three is time lapses. All right, so I'm a little bit biased on this one because I live in Atlanta, but hear me out. If you live in any city and there's any type of TV being filmed in those cities, typically TV shows love to use time lapses in the intro sequences as well as a transition sequence. Think about any like reality show you've watched when the characters move from one place to another. They usually fill it with a time lapse. Think about Keeping Up with the Kardashians. If you've ever seen that show before, there's time lapses all throughout those shows. Someone has to make those. And I actually know people in Atlanta who make very good money licensing out their time lapses of the city to a lot of the TV shows that are shot here. So that's something to think about. Number four is drop shipping. Now, before you get mad at me on this one, hear me out. If you can learn the skills to operate a drop shipping site, if you don't know what that is, think about when you get on Instagram and you see like a random ad for like a blender bottle or something like that. Those ads are usually created by someone who has a Shopify store. They link the Shopify store to a distributor or a manufacturer. So when someone buys the product, it gets shipped to them. They're essentially handling the website and the media piece of that business. So that's something you'll have to learn, but you have a leg up if you understand photography and video in creating the advertisements and the website necessary to sell this product and make it look like a professional store. So if you're interested in that, you already have some skills with a camera, you have a leg up on any random person who just wants to start a drop shipping site. And you can also help people with their drop shipping sites. That's an opportunity to make money as well, and that's a bonus bonus for you on this video. Now, real quick, before we continue on with this list, I want to thank the sponsor on today's video, Motion Array. This year, I'm trying to take my video production to the next level, and no one makes it easier than Motion Array. Motion Array is a marketplace with tons of video assets like video templates, stock footage, photos, music, and sound effects. But they're mostly known for their high-quality templates that look amazing and save creators like you and me a ton of time. And these templates can be used with Premiere Pro, Final Cut, After Effects, and DaVinci Resolve. Rather than just talking about this, let me show you how I'm using Motion Array in my workflow. So I personally love their Premiere Pro presets, so I go to the preset tab with Premiere Pro selected. Really like this RGB Out There Optics preset, download that. Love these kinetic text right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and download that as well. Now we need some type of transition, so I'm gonna download this glitch transition pack right here. And last but not least, I need some cool colors for this, so I'm gonna download these movie looking LUTs right here. After I've downloaded all these, I'll go to Premiere Pro, and it's really easy to import these. Right click on your presets, you import them. Now I'm gonna go ahead and drop in that first effect that we downloaded. That looks really cool right there. And I'm gonna cut this clip down a little bit, and I'm gonna add in a glitch transition at the beginning and at the end of this clip, so we can have a glitch to this cool like 3D look right here. Now, once we do that, I need to go ahead and add some colors onto this to really spice it up. So I'm gonna drop in one of those LUTs we downloaded by going to our adjustment layer. I'm gonna pick movie look number 5 right here, add that in, adjust the intensity a little bit though, because at 100 it's a little bit much. Now we have a cool orange and teal look. We have that glitch coming in and out. So I'm gonna add in 3 text layers right here and drop in the 3 assets that we downloaded with the text. These are really easy. It just sets the in and out points for you. You just have to drop them into each text layer. And now we have the final product right here, which looks amazing. A quick and easy video intro that you can use. But this is just a small example of what you can do with Motion Array. They have so many options for creators. And if you have any assets that you use in your video, you know how expensive it can get downloading these. With Motion Array, you just pay a monthly or yearly fee and you get unlimited downloads with everything that they have on their site. So Motion Array has become a huge part of my workflow, and it can become a part of yours as well. Just head to the link in the description down below. Check it out for yourself. Thank you to Motion Array for sponsoring today's video. Number 5 is apartment, web, and social photos. So with the real estate market being what it is now, there's always going to be houses for sale, but the real estate market has definitely cooled off because prices are rising and interest rates have risen as well. So a lot of people are looking at renting right now. This creates a lot of competition in the apartment space. If you've ever been onto like apartments.com or you've been shopping for an apartment, they all want beautiful photos of their lobbies, of their like congregate areas. What do you call that? Like the lounge, I guess is what you would call it. I don't know. They want good photos of their pool. They want good photos of the gym. Someone has to make those. And right now with apartments being in such competition with one another, there's a lot of opportunities right there to make some money. Now, number 6 is apartment web and video, web and social video. Same concept as photos. Vertical video is huge on social media right now. Apartments are trying to promote everything they have. If you have a gimbal, if you have video skills, being able to create like a really smooth video of their pool or their gym or their lobby or their lounge area can benefit you a lot right now. Number 7 is real estate drone photography. Now, real estate drone photography is big because a lot of houses have selling points outside of just the house. For example, my parents' house has kind of this like pond in their backyard. It's not a lake. It's kind of just like a pond thing. But anyways, if they were to go sell this house, a drone photo would basically help set the scene of where the house is located much better than a traditional photo would. And what's great about anything drone related, we have a couple that we're going to talk about on this list, is not everyone can do it. I don't have a drone license, so I can't go do real estate drone photography. So if you get that license, you open up a lot of doors for yourself, real estate being one of them. Number 8 is property surveying with a drone. So kind of similar to real estate, there's a lot of jobs that need to be done with houses that require surveying for contractors. So let's say someone wants to put a pool in their backyard or they want to put a fence in their backyard. By having a drone license and being able to get the video and photo for these contractors, you can be someone who is essentially sent out on multiple jobs a day for a contractor. The way to get into that business would essentially be link up with someone who's doing things like like pool installation, fence installation, I don't know, any other type of home improvement job. Work with that contractor. They can send you out to survey everything, and because you have a license, you're a valuable asset to them. Next up is, where are we at on this list? Sorry. Oh, Etsy print on demand. I don't know why I put this in here because there's going to be some drone stuff in a second, but we'll talk about this real quick. Etsy print on demand allows you to link an Etsy account to any type of printing or like printing service. So I think one of the popular ones is Printful. So let's say you create, I don't know, city photos in Atlanta like I do, and you want to make coffee mugs representing the city of Atlanta for people to buy. You can create an Etsy store, link it to something like Printful, set up the products via, like the system that they have in place. You'll have to go watch a separate video on that, but you do that, people can go to Etsy, buy your Atlanta mug. You never have to hold any inventory, and it's a cool way to get your photography out there. Now, number 10 goes back to drones, drone stock footage. Now, once again, drones are something you need a license for. Not everyone can do it, so that automatically gives you a leg up. But right now, there's not a lot of drone footage for cities on stock websites. When you go to any of these platforms, a lot of times you get 1080 video, you get midday sun video. You don't get a lot of really good sunsets and things like that. So there's an opportunity out there to license footage, and a lot of times it might go once again to like TV shows or bigger productions because they need those hero shots. So being able to get drone footage that's 4K or higher is definitely a market that drone pilots can tap into. Now, number 11 is drone instructor. All right. So if you're someone who has that license or you understand how to fly a drone, you can teach other people how to do it. You can prepare them for that licensing test, and you can make money that way. Number 12 is Instagram subscriptions. Instagram introduced a subscription model really to compete with OnlyFans, if you want to be honest, but basically, you can have a tab on your Instagram now where somebody goes and clicks. They have to pay to see the content that's posted there. If you're someone who has a small Instagram following, but you have a dedicated fan base, this could be a way to make some extra money, even if you don't have some massive, large following, and it's pretty easy to set up. So number 13 is weddings and engagements. This could technically be two, but I'm going to go ahead and lump them in together. Weddings and engagements are always something that is happening. It's a business model that is always going to be there. Granted, it is very competitive. Number 14, easy, baby photos. People are getting married, people have kids, and people want photos of their kids to be printed in their house. They want them for social media. They just want them simply for memories, and a lot of times iPhone photos don't cut it. So if you know how to create an actual picture with good lighting, there's an opportunity here to make some money, and you can always upsell to print packages because, like I said, people want prints of their children in their homes, and a lot of times they don't know where to do that. So if you have a good printing lab or a good printer yourself, that's another way that you can make money. Number 15 is sneaker resellers. Now, this is just the sneaker industry in general. This is a huge market right now. It continues to grow and be even more popular. There's a lot of people making money reselling sneakers, and you can be someone who does the photography for one of these people, or you can be someone who does the photography for a sneaker influencer, their lifestyle photos, things like that. And most of these people who are doing this are making enough money to be able to pay you and see the benefit in good photos as being a part of their business model. So there's a lot of opportunity in the sneaker world right now. 16 is the tried and true presets. If you have an editing style that people want to replicate, selling presets is really easy. 17 is LUTs, exact same thing, but if you're someone who does video, someone sees your video, they say, how did you edit that? Oh, go to link in my description, you can download my LUTs. Easy. 18 is photo books. Obviously, this requires a little bit of marketing here, but if you're a photographer who captures a lot of a certain genre or certain theme, it's really easy to put a collection together, and if you've cultivated an audience through social media, you can sell the books that way. Now, one good service to use for book selling is a company called Blurb. The reason I like this for small creators is because you don't have to order a huge bulk number of books all at once. You can just order like 10 if you want, or you can do a pre-order on your website and then just fulfill whatever orders there are. Blurb makes it really easy. Next is a GIF creator. Hear me out on this one, all right? How many times have you been to a website or gotten an email where there's a GIF inside the email? this is someone's creation. They have to make this, all right? And most small business owners don't know how to create a GIF. So if you're someone who understands how to create these, there's definitely a market for them in email marketing as well as websites. This is one that you're going to have to do a little bit of research on yourself. I remember back when I worked in the sneaker world, I would have to create GIFs and it was always a nightmare, but we used them in emails. It was engaging and it was something that I probably did once a month. So there's definitely a market for it. Next up is corporate headshots. This one is obviously self-explanatory. Corporate offices, they want photos on their LinkedIn, they want photos internally on like Salesforce and things like that, and they want photos on ID badges if that's something they use, and someone has to create those. So you can go into offices, offer up your services, but be professional. One good way to actually get these clients is to make sure your work is good. Me and my buddy Chris had one of the worst jobs of our entire career up in New York because we kind of botched a corporate headshot job. They just didn't look good and they wanted something more professional. And yeah, so if you can deliver on really professional headshots, there's definitely a market for it. Number 21 is actually where I got my start, and that's why it's included on this list. Music videos and music photography. Musicians, when they're starting out, they don't have a lot of money and they need something to promote themselves. So if you're just getting started with a camera, you guys can basically work together and grow together. Maybe they have a couple $100s for a video. You try your absolute best to deliver on this video. Everyone's happy because now they have a way to market their songs and you made a little bit of money, and hopefully as they grow because your video did well to promote them, they'll have more money to pay you. This is really cool because it's almost like a collaboration between artists. Photography is the same thing. Emerging artists need photos for their social media, and you can be the one to do that. 22 is NFTs. I've talked about this before on the channel. NFTs are something that you need to be a part of that community, but if you're in that community, there's still people making sales right now and making money with it. So definitely something that you can check out and think about. And I have a feeling if the crypto market ends up going back up, NFTs are going to gain a lot of momentum once again. 23 is creative prints. Easy, self-explanatory. If you're someone who creates a lot of art, you have an audience who appreciates your art or appreciates the subjects that you're photographing, you can create prints of that. 24 is client print upsells. I mentioned this when I was talking about baby photos. If you're working with any type of client who wants the photos that you're creating to be physical in their home, maybe family photos, wedding photos, baby photos, you can always upsell on those clients and print the photos for them because like I said, most of the time people just print their photos at like Walgreens or something and they look absolutely terrible. Next up is camera guides. All right, so if you have a camera that is really complex, personally I don't really like Sony cameras for this reason. I've just never been able to really like grab one and use it. There's so much to learn. If you're someone who is an expert on your camera, you can sell guides to help people who purchase that camera learn the ins and outs of it. 26 is interior design portfolios. Interior designers, they need the best photos that they can possibly have to promote their business. Interior design is really like a cutthroat industry because you can't like physically take a client to a house that you decorated. Maybe you can if you have a really good rapport with your client, but for the most part, they need a portfolio of photos that look really good. So if you can be the person to provide that for them, it's a very valuable service to them. So interior design is big and it's going to continue to get even bigger because it's so popular on social media right now. Like there's so many accounts that people like create for their house and then they just show how they decorate their house and people buy it. So that's definitely a market that you can look into on your own and potentially get into. 27 is city location guides for photography. This one's cool. So think about when you go to New York or if you come to Atlanta. For example, in Atlanta, I actually get a lot of emails from people asking me where can they go to get the best photos? What do I recommend? And if I really wanted to, I could create a guide that's on my website that's basically a map and a breakdown of all the best photo locations in Atlanta. So if you're really familiar with a city, you've done a lot of photography in a city, you can create a guide for people to come to the city and get all the banger photos that they want from all the locations that are good without them having to search for them. Now, I know some of you are purists and are going to get mad and be like, that takes all the fun out of photography. Just come on. We're trying to make money. Let's not do that today. Next up on here, where are we at is 28 adventure guides. So basically the same concept as city location guides, but if you're someone who does a lot of adventuring, you go out hiking, you go to nature locations, you can create a guide to tell people the best time of day to make photos in certain locations, how to get there safely, what to look out for, what time of year they should go there. For example, I go to Smoky Mountain National Park probably at least once a year. I've been there so many times now, and I have an idea of which places to go to at which time of year, and if I should go to Klingsman's Dome in the morning or should I go at sunset. And you start getting an idea of what works and what doesn't work. So if you're very familiar with the location, you can help people out with that. And remember, when it comes to making money with anything, providing value is how you do that. So there's definitely people out there who want to get the best photos possible when they go to a national park, and you can be the person to help them do that. 29 is mobile photography guides. iPhones have vast capabilities, but they're also a little bit complicated and tricky to really get in depth on. So if you're someone who understands how to make good photos or good video with a mobile device, there's definitely a market to teach that to people. 30 is family portraits, tried and true. Families love to have photos. People continue to age and grow, and they want to document that. So you be the one to photograph it. And also with family portraits, you can do that upsell to prints like I talked about. 31 is small business vertical video. Vertical video is king right now. Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, everyone's trying to get into it. And it's almost like its own genre of videography. So if you can learn how to create these videos for a client, you can pitch it to small businesses, tell them the value of it, explain that if they have 10 vertical videos that they post every single month, usually the odds are that one of those videos will gain a little bit of traction, and it helps carry momentum on their social media to help new people discover them over time. 32 is stock photos, but the caveat, it's got to be a banger. It has got to be a good photo, all right? The basic stuff, it doesn't work on stock photos anymore. Forget about that. But if you're someone, maybe you make really good cityscapes, really good landscape photos, throwing them up on stock websites is still beneficial because a lot of the stuff out there is crap. So if you can rise to the top and be the person doing the best thing in whatever genre you're posting to these stock sites, there's definitely a market for it still. 33 is stock video. Now, here's why this is on this list. So many stock websites right now only have video that is in 1080. There are a lot of 4K clips out there, but let's say you're someone who has a camera that's capable of capturing 5K or 6K or 8K. If you can create stock video in these higher frame rates, or capture these videos in like a flat picture profile or a log picture profile or even a raw video picture profile, there's definitely a market for this because, like I mentioned, TV shows, businesses, they need video that is customizable, that is also high resolution. So by providing these videos that are kind of scarce on stock platforms right now, there's definitely a market for you to take advantage of. 34 is gear rental. I've talked about this before. If you have any camera gear that is in demand that you're not using, you can put it up on rental websites. There's a bunch. Just go Google camera rental sites and you'll find ones that allow you to list your gear for use with other creators when you're not using it. 35, this one's kind of funny. Hear me out, all right? I wrote down watch negotiation videographer. Now, this is just the example that I want to use for this concept. Go on YouTube Shorts right now and look up watch negotiations. I get sucked into these videos all the time. It's basically like two people talking back and forth trying to get the price down on a watch. Now, that's not exactly what you have to do. You have to be the person who basically records any type of behind the scenes for social media. These videos are really simple to make. A lot of times, you know, like a small business or an artist or someone who's like a painter, a woodworker, someone who's not necessarily an influencer but still wants to grow their brand on social media, they need some type of behind the scenes video, and you can be the person to create that. Now, I don't really know how much these watch negotiators are paying their videographers, but I'm sure they're paying them something. So whatever niche and world you're interested in, think about how can I provide value to the people in this world, not just watch traders. It could be, like I said, a painter. Maybe they create beautiful art. You can be the one to film the behind the scenes for their social media. Next up is 36, which is UGC content for brands. Now, UGC stands for User Generator Content. This is essentially brands creating advertisements that look like they were just like filmed by you and me casually. It's like a whole new genre of video. And like I mentioned, short form video is like kind of its own thing right now. But UGC content has a huge community online. There's a lot of people out there giving information and tips on how to get into it. it. So if you're someone who maybe isn't full on into videography, but you have an idea of kind of how to make TikToks, how to potentially work with brands or showcase brands, this could be something that you check out. And it's just going to continue to grow in the future because everything is going more towards this user generated style and away from this like hyper professional overproduced style. Number 37 is Instagram Reel bonuses. We all know you can get paid bonuses for posting Instagram Reels. So if you create a lot of Reels, you can eventually get invited to that program. This one is not like the biggest money maker, but if you're already doing Reels to promote your business, why not take advantage of it? 38 is YouTube video ADSENSE. This one's been around forever. It's a way that I make money. I'm making ADSENSE money on this video right now. It's just the ads that play on a YouTube video. So if you meet the threshold to start getting paid for YouTube, you can get paid that way. And I've always said that YouTube is a great tool to market yourself. So as you build an audience and as you market the things you're doing, eventually over time, it should grow big enough to where you can eventually get paid that ADSENSE, and this just becomes passive income for the material you were already going to make to market your clients or your products or anything else. That's a huge part of what I talk about on moderncreativemoney.com. Now 39 is YouTube Shorts ADSENSE. This is brand new. In February, YouTube is allowing people to get paid for YouTube Shorts. So if you create those short form videos for your Instagram Reels, for your TikToks, you can now throw them on YouTube Shorts. And once again, if you meet the threshold to get paid, you can get money for that. Number 40 is YouTube subscriptions. So YouTube allows you to essentially like have people pay to subscribe to your channel and be fans. They get like a badge or different incentives. This can be something like $5. It can be $10 a month. A lot of creators do this. I don't do that on this channel, but it is something that you can use to monetize your channel even if you have a small following. And another little extra bonus one that we're sprinkling in here is with YouTube. Oh, wait. I forgot I wrote it down on the list. So 41 is YouTube tips. So with YouTube, there's something called a tip. So when you post a short, if you go into your monetization settings, there's a little tab that you can check that basically allows people to tip you money for your YouTube shorts. So let's say someone watches a short from you, they really like it, they can click that tip button and they can send you $5, $10, $1, whatever. It's just an extra way to make money off of something you're already doing. So you can get paid for the AdSense on shorts and you can get paid for those tips. Next up is B-roll for YouTubers. Now, this is a big one because it's a huge lift for YouTubers to create their video and then create all the B-roll and extra video that's needed. So if you're in a city or a town and you know there's YouTubers in your city, reach out to them and say, hey, I don't want to like produce your entire video, but I'll be someone who records all the extra clips. So you can focus on whatever you're doing and I'll record all the minutia that you need to fill out the video, you know, like the macro shots of a camera or the macro shots of, you know, your computer that you're working on, whatever it is. This is an opportunity for you to make money with creators who are also making money, and you're making their life easier, providing them value by doing the work that's usually most difficult for YouTubers, is getting all the clips outside of just like the talking head stuff. So number 43 is fitness photos. Now, later I'm going to talk about influencers, but I wanted to separate fitness from this because the fitness industry is booming. It is more popular than it's ever been before. I've been working out and going to gyms since I got my driver's license when I was 16. So because I'm old, that's like 15 years of going to a gym. But over those 15 years, I have never seen the gym as popular as it is now, and I've never seen people in the gym with so many opportunities to make money. You know, clothing brands, when it comes to fitness, they're all based on an affiliate model, meaning that the people creating the media get paid when people use their codes, so they need photos all the time. You know, they need to be posting their outfits, posting their workouts, posting what they're doing to make money, and someone has to be the one to create it. So if you have any knowledge or interest in fitness, this is a niche that is just massive right now. And 44 is fitness vertical video. It's basically the same concept as photo, but with video being what it is. Like I mentioned, there's so much value in the reach that you can get with video. You know, if you post 10 a month, one might pop off and carry your entire social channel for about a month with new people finding you. So vertical video is big, and the fitness space right now is probably the highest paying niche for this stuff, in my opinion. There's people like, have you ever heard of Alpha Land? It's down in Texas. It's owned by Christian Guzman. There's guys down there who create all the photos and all the short form video for like multiple athletes. they're cleaning up. They've got it figured out. They have a business where they just go to the gym and they just film for all these influencers who need all this content. So there's definitely something to this one. So number 45 is small business product photos. This is the photos that a business needs for their website. It's typically stuff that's on like a white backdrop or a colored backdrop, and it's more studio type stuff. Small business owners do not know how to do this. Now, granted, if you go to a store that like sells Nike or something like that, they can get those photos from Nike corporate. But if you're a business that's even just like creating their own merch, someone has to make these photos, and that can be you. I did this for a long time when I worked at a small business here in Atlanta. Now, 46 is small business lifestyle product photos. This is like the other side of the coin from those in-studio product photos. And that's what's kind of funny about running a small business. You need the product photos for your website, and then you need everything else for your like website homepage, for your blog, for your social media, for your emails. You got to actually show people using the products. So typically what I would recommend is lump these two together, offer packages where you create the studio type stuff and you also create the lifestyle stuff. That's what I did for a really long time when I worked at Epitome ATL in Atlanta, and I really preferred the lifestyle side of things. It was fun working with models, going out and being creative, and this is a really good opportunity if you're just getting started to find reoccurring revenue, because businesses always have products coming in and they always need photos of it. Now 47 is the new one here, and that is small business vertical video. Every small business needs vertical video. I've already talked about why it's so important and what it does for your social media. So once again, you can incorporate this into your photo packages and now offer them 3 things all at once and essentially be a social media coordinator for them. So 48 is influencer photos. I went ahead and lumped in influencers like just into a broad category here outside of fitness. I think they're kind of like in a league of their own right now, but people who are trying to build a business based on their social media clout, they obviously need social media content to do that, and you can be the one to create that. A lot of these people make money with affiliate links, meaning they'll like wear a certain outfit and they'll say like tap to shop, which will take them to a website where they can buy the products through an affiliate link. There's all types of little hustles that Instagram and influencer people do, so you can be the one to take those photos. And right now, everyone wants to be an influencer, so there's a lot of opportunity for it. 49 is influencer vertical video, exact same concept as the photos. These people are always trying to promote these things that they're doing and make their life look really cool and fabulous. So if you know how to do that and help them, they're going to be willing to pay you for it. Next up is podcast video producer. So everyone wants to start a podcast right now. It's a huge booming industry. The reason why is I think people enjoy just hearing other people talk and being able to sit down and consume content while doing something else. It's probably why these long form videos are doing well on the channel. So podcast is huge, but a lot of people don't know how to create the video for it. They start on audio only. So if you know someone who's starting a podcast or you look around for audio only podcasts, you can approach them with a video package and be the one to create the video for them. 51 is a tried and true event recap photos. I made a lot of money over the years doing this. Basically, you just look for different events, typically that have corporate sponsors. You reach out to the agency or the sponsor or the corporation who's sponsoring the event, figure out if they need recap photos for it, because they all do. Even if it's not something they're sharing on social media, they all need it for like internal documents and like showing the success of it and pitch decks. There's all types of like behind the scene business that goes on. But anytime a corporation puts up money to sponsor an event, they typically want some type of recap photo. So that's definitely a business that is still popular right now, because this type of marketing is just continuing to grow and become more popular. Corporations like to do activations and be involved like with events going on. I actually recently did one at the Atlanta Open. It was a tennis tournament. I worked with a wine company who had this like big tent and activation thing. And I don't think they even really used the photos outside of like their website and internal corporate stuff. I have no idea, but they paid me really well. Next is event recap video. Exact same concept. It's what I did with the wine company. I packaged photo and video together, created like a quick little video for them, gave them, I think, like 20 photos, and they paid me a couple $1,000s for that. Really easy and simple. Same concept as photo. But once again, video is really popular right now, so there's more potential to make money. 34, or excuse me, can't read. 53, what is wrong with me, is concert photos. Concert photos been around forever. They're always going to be, acts promoting themselves, trying to show how many people are at their live show. They're always going to try to basically make it look like they're touring. Their tour is a success. So if you can find an in either with a group or with a venue, this is a way to make money. And remember, there are music publications and news publications who make money through advertising on their website. So if you're the person creating photos for these websites, they definitely have money to pay you. Next up is 54, concert video. Exact same thing, creating recap videos. A good example of this is this party that they throw in Atlanta. What's it called? Defy Everything Future. It's an EDM night rave thing. They have really great photos and really great videos, but they need someone to capture it and make it look cool so more people come to the next one. So there's definitely a demand for this, especially I think in that world of EDM and DJ type music, because it's a party and a music event all at the same time, and it makes for really good internet content. So that's definitely something to think about. 55 is video color grader. So you obviously need a camera to learn how to color grade your own videos. Once you get really good at that, you can reach out to YouTubers or anyone who needs a colorist for their videos, and you can make money that way. I know personally, I absolutely hate color grading the more cinematic sequences on these videos. I do it because I don't feel like paying for it, but if that was an option to have someone color grade all my videos, I would definitely consider doing it if it made sense on the business end. So there's definitely a demand for it. 56, photo retoucher. Everyone needs a retouching, but I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill, just remove some blemishes. I'm talking about real studio level retouching where you make people look pretty and beautiful. So if you have the skills in Photoshop to do this, you've learned how to do it with your own photography, with your own camera, there's definitely a market to make money with it in the future. And people are always going to want to sell products and make sure that the people in their advertisements or their videos or their photos look the best they possibly can. So on the photo side, being the retoucher, it's always going to be big. Next is a video editor. Obviously, you need your own camera to learn how to edit a video. Everyone hates editing video. I personally despise it. It's my least favorite part of this entire job. I've outsourced some of it, but not all of it, because the video needs to have my personal touch to it. But if you're someone who knows how to edit videos, and maybe you can find someone who doesn't need to have that personal touch, maybe they just need you to create a bunch of clips put together, or maybe they send you all the clips and say, hey, just throw this together for me. There's definitely an opportunity once you've learned how to do it with your own projects. 58, man, I cannot read at this point. 58, social media, photo, and video for artists. So I kind of already covered this earlier when I was talking about, finding people who need behind the scenes, but I think artists stands alone, because artists like myself are so focused on creating the things they want to create that a lot of times social media behind the scenes and social media video really falls by the wayside. I might spend a ton of time making photos, and I think to myself, wow, if I had even created some type of small behind the scenes while I was doing this, I'd have two pieces of content. I'd have the final photo and the process, which people are always interested in. So if you can be the person to capture that process for an artist, there's definitely a huge market for this, because a lot of times artists want to put all their energy into what they're creating and not split their energy between the thing they're creating and creating this other piece of content. Next up is corporate licensing work with broad subjects. So let's say you're someone like me, you've built a reputation making photos in Atlanta. Corporations a lot of times want photos of the place they're located, or their history or their lineage on their website, on their social media. I've sold photos to law firms. I've sold photos to large businesses. I've sold photos to mega churches before. I've done all types of stuff, but there's always going to be an opportunity, if you have really good imagery of a particular subject, to license it out to people who need photos of that thing. And one cool thing about not putting these photos on stock websites, if you want to go a different route, is having them on your website as a gallery that's available for licensing, and you make it a little bit more exclusive because you can pick and choose who gets to use it. And in my opinion, it makes it so you can charge a little bit more money, but there's more of a business hustle to it. You have to build a name for yourself. It's not like stock stuff where no one can know who you are and you just put it out there. But this is really good, especially if you start growing a little bit of a reputation in the place you're at. 60 is automotive race photography. So automotive race photography is extremely difficult because cars are going fast. So if you can learn the skills to do this, you are going to be in high demand, because even someone like me who's been doing photography for, I don't know, over 10 years, it seems like at this point, close to 10 years. I can't go out and capture a car race. I don't know how to do it. So if you can learn the skills to do this, there's definitely a demand for it. And something I've learned is the car world is deep. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the car world if you don't know about it that you'd be surprised by. So I actually have a buddy who's been working with me on this channel. He's down in Daytona right now working at a race with Porsche, and he's making really good money doing that. And it's an opportunity that I think like the run-of-the-mill normal person like me or you wouldn't even know existed until you get into that world. So 61 is sell camera accessories. Something that I've found is that I can never find like the perfect neck strap for my cameras. Notice how this one is tied in a knot up here. I absolutely hate this. It drives me crazy, but it makes the neck strap the proper length. So let's say you're someone who has the same problem as me. You have enough time to go out and manufacture or create your own neck strap that's the perfect length. You can do that and sell it, and I guarantee there's a market for that. You can do the same thing with wrist straps, or maybe you have a certain type of camera that needs like a thumb grip or something. That is something to think about. And the best place to start with an idea like that is look at your own problems. Like, what do you dislike about the accessories you have for your camera, and work to make them better. 62 is commercial prints, mainly like Target and IKEA in these places. Now, I've talked about this before. I don't have a ton of experience with this. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I do know people personally who have made money licensing their photos to these commercial printers. I'm not exactly sure their pay structure. They didn't tell me, but if you have photography that is extremely, I guess, fan friendly, like very pop culture friendly, it's something that a Target would look at and say, yeah, that can go in a lot of people's houses. It's super basic. You have an opportunity to make money that way. And really, if you have the hustler spirit here, I think you could probably track down the buyer for these stores by just like really getting on LinkedIn, really getting on email, and just creating a chain and being like, hey, who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? Not necessarily going to be easy or overnight, but if you're someone who thinks that they have like basic enough pictures to do it, there's definitely an opportunity. Next is thumbnail creator. This is another problem that you can solve for internet creators. I personally hate making thumbnails. It takes me like hours to put them together because it's such a huge part of these videos. If your thumbnail's bad, the video is not going to perform, and all the time you put into the video is wasted. So if you're someone who knows how to make a good thumbnail, you know how to capture a good photo, and you know YouTubers in your area who have photos that stink as their thumbnails, you can be the person to fix that and do it for them. 34 is workshops. This is great if you're someone who lives in a certain area or understands a certain technique very well. You can teach small groups of people how to do the things that you're very proficient in. And I think a lot of people overthink workshops. Always scale it down. You don't have to be great at everything. Typically, people go to workshops to learn one thing. And later on this list, we're going to talk about being a gimbal instructor. Maybe you understand how to use your camera gimbal, or maybe you understand how to film really well with your camera. You can do a workshop breaking down color grading or breaking down those gimbal techniques, whatever it is. Next is online courses about your experience. Basically the same concept as a workshop, but you're taking all the information you specialize in with your camera, boiling it down to some type of online course, and giving it to the world that way. You can also do the same thing at number 66 with an ebook. So there are ways now to create an ebook, put it on Amazon, put it on your website. There's like all different types of outlets that you'll have to research on your own. But essentially, if you are good enough at what you do to write a book breaking down how to do it, there are ways to distribute that book very easily through the internet without you ever having to print a physical copy of it. Next is 67, pet photos. All right, people love their pets. I love my boy Dax. My parents take care of him now. My parents actually get a Golden Doodle calendar every single year, and that is number 68 on this list, which is calendars. Believe it or not, old people still buy calendars, all right? I know that seems crazy if you're someone who like keeps a calendar in their phone, but a lot of people like the nostalgia and just the thing of having a calendar on their wall, right? So whatever subject matter that you photograph, whether it's like the city you live in, the like nature that you go into, the pets that you photograph, doesn't matter. If you can create a calendar for this, there's always going to be a market for it if you can pinpoint that market. If you're like a 12-year-old kid trying to make money with photography, it might be kind of hard to like sell calendars to your 12-year-old buddies, but if you're someone my age or in your 30s, it might not be as difficult to find that market for calendars. 69 is Google AdSense on your website. So This is more of an old school one, but if you're someone who has a website that has a blog feature to it, you can monetize that website. So when someone comes to your blog to see what you're frequently posting, you can get paid for the advertisements that way. Number 70 is affiliate marketing with products. So what people don't really know about YouTube, or even influencers, I already mentioned it, is when like an influencer puts in their story like, hey, check out this sweatshirt, I bought it on Amazon. When you click that link, you're going to an affiliate link. So if you buy that sweatshirt, you are someone, like, you're essentially giving them a small percentage of that sale. So they're getting paid for you buying that sweatshirt through Amazon. Now, affiliate marketing with products goes even farther than just Amazon. B&H has a program, but let's say you have a small following, you have a dedicated audience about the camera you use, or people are finding you on social media for little short form videos you're making and they're wondering what type of gear you use. You can create a Amazon list showing all the gear you use, so when someone discovers you and they want to replicate what you're doing, they can just go buy those products and you get paid on the back end. A lot of people making crazy money with this. I'm not the best affiliate marketer. I'm trying to get better at it, but I know people have made they've made $1 million and like a quarter of it was affiliate marketing. It's crazy. 71 is affiliate marketing for online learning material. This is the same concept as products, but it's non-physical products. One example of this is if you're a YouTuber or you know how to make YouTube videos, you can be someone who promotes a service like TubeBuddy. Kind of a weird name, right? But this is a service that allows people to see what's trending on YouTube, what titles and keywords are going to do well, and they offer an affiliate program. So if you're someone who's already doing some of the money-making methods on here, that can be one that you add in. Or if you're someone who has a dedicated list of users, they might subscribe and use products that you use for your online stuff, and you can get paid a commission off of that. So 72 is a cool one. Online critiques. Now, you can be someone who offers up your critiquing services to people who want them, essentially. So you can offer this through your website, you can offer it through social media. Maybe you're very good at a specific thing, and people who want to learn this can come to you and pay you for a small critique. 73 is passport photos. I've talked about this one before. Passport photos are always in demand because they're kind of a pain to do at like Walgreens or the traditional route. You can be someone who just sets up a white backdrop or has a white wall. You get a passport photo, easy, quick upsell also on family and like that type of photos, because you're already photographing the families. You can say, hey, I'll get your passport photos too while we're at it, and you can upsell them on that. 74 is a zine, okay? If you're someone who maybe doesn't want to sell a photo book because you think it's going to be expensive, you're not really comfortable with your work being in a book form yet, a zine is a really cool way to provide someone with like your creative things, but packaged in a way that's a little bit easier to print, a little less expensive. Usually you can do paperbacks. Blurb offers like a type of paper printing on this. It's called their press products. You can check that out, and you can create a zine, which is essentially, I think, more fun than a book because creatively you can do so much more with the formatting of it. You can work with a graphic designer and artist to make it really cool. It's a great way to showcase your photography if you have a small audience and you don't want to charge too much for a product. 75 is sensor cleaner, all right? If you're someone who has a camera, you know how to clean your sensor, you learn how to do it the right way. A lot of people need this. One time I got my sensor cleaned by a guy who someone recommended to me in a Chick-fil-A. They literally were like, yeah, just meet me at the Chick-fil-A. I need to get lunch. They got their lunch. They sat down, opened up my camera, did this whole thing. I guess they used to work at a camera manufacturer. I don't really know, but this is a way to make money with your camera without actually even using your camera. This is a really cool one, but you got to learn the skills to do it properly so you don't mess up people's stuff. Next up is 77, a gimbal operator. YouTubers, filmmakers, people doing documentaries, they need someone who's really good at operating a gimbal. This is also for music videos. Gimbal operation is a skill in itself. You need to understand the relationship between your camera, the autofocus, the movements you're doing, getting the gimbal settings right, and it's very high in demand right now because not a lot of people are good at it, if I'm being honest with you. 77 is, did I say 77 on the last one? Whatever. 77 is gimbal instructor. If you're good at these things, you understand how to do it. You can create any type of material to help people learn. You can do a workshop, ebook, online course, all types of things. 78 is any film industry job. I'm a little bit biased on this because I live in Atlanta, but people in Atlanta, a lot of them work in the film industry. To get into that, you need to become part of the union. There's kind of a whole process to that, but once you get in there, you kind of get your foot in the door, jobs come a-flowing, especially if you live in a city where a lot of film is taking place. If you want to get into that, move to Atlanta. Like, I know people who are just constantly working in the film industry. 79 is independent group galleries. So if you're a photographer, you're printing your photos, you have friends who are printing your photos, you guys can put a gallery together. I talk more in depth about this in the 33 ways to make money with your photography. I go into my history with it. This is something that we did a lot back in the day, and it's rad. 80 is merch. So let's say you're someone who has design ideas, you want to create some type of merch. By you having a camera, having the skills to create photo and video for social media, you have a leg up on anyone else trying to create a brand or any type of merchandise because you can create the material to promote it. So you can make the brand and then you can do all the imagery and all the content for it yourself. 81 is TikTok. This is self-explanatory. TikTok pays. It's not a lot, but if you make TikToks to promote yourself, you can make some money that way. 82 is custom wallpaper. Now, I would not have included this on this list until the most recent iPhone. The recent iPhone gives you a lot of customization options when it comes to the home screen, and it's become kind of a thing to have like the coolest looking home screen. So if you have photos that you think make really good iPhone wallpaper, you show people how to design their home screen to look like yours, there's an option or an opportunity out there to make some extra money with the photos you're already making. 83 is macro photography. Now, macro photography is something that is hyper specialized, okay? A lot of people don't know how to do it right. I'm not talking about like just throw a macro lens on your camera, make some macro pictures. I'm talking about like really in-depth, detailed, good shots. So if you can learn the skill to create macro photos, there's always going to be a market in the jewelry and in the watch industry for this, and really any type of industry that has hyper detailed specific products. Next is 84, studio lit photography and video. So studio lighting is something that has kind of become a lost art. Some people do it halfway decent. If you asked me to properly light a scene, I don't think I could do it, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think I would do it the right way. So if you can learn the skills just like macro photography to specialize in this, there are so many opportunities out there because most people don't know how to do it. 85 is having a gallery represent you. This is like the old school way to make money with printing. If you know someone who has a gallery or you talk to people who own galleries, if you fit into kind of their clientele, there's an opportunity for you to be represented by them, and basically you'll put your prints in their gallery and they'll try to sell them to their clients. This is big if you have photography that you're creating that looks good with interior designers, because a lot of times those two work together. Galleries work with interior designers. Designers buy prints and buy large pieces from them to put in the homes they're working with. And I've actually worked with a gallery who does this here in Atlanta. Next is large volume print sales to businesses. So this is like a B2B print sales. So let's say a hotel or a business or like a school or a church, they need a bunch of photos to outfit their offices and like, basically just solve a huge problem all at once. They want to make their office, their place of business look good. You can be the person to provide this. Now, once again, there is a hustle to this. You have to meet the people. You have to get your foot in the door. But I did sell prints. I sold I think it was like $5,000, $6,000 worth of photos to a really big church here in Atlanta. This is a long time ago, like 7 years ago, but it's definitely something that is still relevant today, especially if you have photography that's not, I guess, like super offensive. If you have photography that's pretty light, pretty, pop culture-y, I guess, once again, stuff that's not offensive, there's definitely room for you to create these really large packages for things like hotels and businesses. Next is Twitch stream editing. So Twitch is a way to make money. I'm not super familiar with it, but if you meet the thresholds to monetize your Twitch and build an audience basically showing you edit and process photos, there's definitely an opportunity there that I don't think has been tapped into. 88 is podcast. So if you're someone who has a camera, you produce someone else's podcast, or you can just go ahead and start your own. I think the creative space right now is kind of well represented, but I don't think anyone has really done a great job of, in the photography space or just in the creative space in general, really having a podcast that has some flavor to it that makes people really want to watch. So that could be you. You could take your camera and just say, screw it, I'm not going to do this for someone else. I'm going to do it for me. I'm going to make a podcast. 89 is Facebook monetization. This is an old school one. Facebook allows you to get paid. There is a guy that I worked with at a recent talk I did over the summer. He was making like $30K a month off of his Facebook. crazy. That's one thing that you'll have to look into on your own. I'm not super familiar with it, but I know I occasionally get Facebook payments as well, so there is a way to get paid for it. 90 is food recipe videos. Food is huge on social media, and like all things on social media, usually the person doing or making the thing doesn't want to put the energy into all the behind the scenes. And right now, food and recipes, quick recipes, is a niche that is extremely popular. I'm sure you're just like me and you're busy and you want ways to make good food quickly, so you could be the person to do those videos. And the other side of this is 91, food blog photos or food social media photos. Once again, people who are creating these dishes and sharing them with the world, they need someone to capture the photos and capture the video for it. A lot of them do it themselves, but a lot of them probably don't want to, especially ones who are a little bit older and maybe less tech savvy, but are really good at what they do. So 92 is pitch decks. Pitch decks are huge when it comes to basically showcasing an idea to someone who's going to get involved with it. This is really big in businesses trying to get sponsors for events or different projects that they're doing. There needs to be some type of proof of concept to show a business to invest in an idea. So you can be the one to create these for a business or for an individual. Basically, all you got to do is go out and create the imagery and then create the pitch deck using something like Canva. Once again, this is something where you got to learn the skills to make the deck, but these are in high demand. I used to do them for musicians back in the day. We essentially would take all the photos I created, make a deck, and then send it to a bunch of different like venues and different publications and say, hey, do you want to do a write-up on this artist? When I worked with my friend Kareem, we would do the same thing with painters. We would create a pitch deck and send it to businesses and say, hey, can we do like a live painting installation or something like that? So this is something that's definitely a more hustle-driven thing, but pitch decks are big, and I'm actually incorporating a module into the update on moderncreativemoney.com where we break down how to do this. So 93 is car dealership photos. Car dealerships are always going to need photos. Now, the big ones usually have a system in place, but smaller independent ones, they don't. They need someone to do these pictures, and that can be you. Number 94, we're finally at the end of the list. 94 is tourism board photos. Now, this is kind of played out at this point, but there are a lot of smaller destinations that need people to come there and make photos and basically show how cool a place is. I'm actually working on a project with Gatlinburg, Tennessee in February, and the whole reason of this project is to showcase all the things that Gatlinburg has to do outside of just what they're kind of known for, which is like kind of kiddie stuff. They brought me in to create things to showcase like the more adult adventure side of the city. So there's still opportunities to do this out there. You just have to choose the right places and also make sure you deliver on your promises. One big issue with tourism board photo and video, which we're about to talk about, is the fact that a lot of people kind of use it as a way to scam and get a free trip somewhere and then don't deliver on what they're promising. So 95, the last on the list, is tourism board video. Destinations, places, they need video. This could even be working with a hotel to showcase a luxury place. They fly you out, you create a bunch of videos for them, you share them on your social, they share them on theirs, they use them on their website, you work out a licensing deal. Doesn't matter, but this is always going to be an industry that is big because, you know, you're selling a dream. You're showing this beautiful place to people in other parts of the world, and you're trying to convince them to come here. And if you're good at this and you have the skills to do it, it's still in very high demand because your $5,000 video package basically is covered by 2 people staying at that hotel for a couple days. So it's definitely beneficial to hotels and to tourist locations to have really professional people come in and create media for them. So that is everything on the list. Probably the longest video I think I've done on this channel. If you enjoyed it, like I said, hit the thumbs up, subscribe for more, and like I mentioned at the beginning, let's make this fun and interactive. If you have any other ideas, drop them in the comments. Let's see how many good ways we can find to make money with a camera.